Hey guys, it's Jorge coming at you again. It's been about 2 months since my last video. The date today is November 12th. The Miami Dolphins are 4-4. I actually predicted the record correct so far, but the teams that we won and lost against, I have not got 100% correct. I did predict us to lose to the Seahawks and the Bengals, and I got it right that we would beat the Browns and the Jets, but we also beat the Steelers and the Bills. I didn't think we would. And we lost to the Patriots and the Titans, and I did not think we would. So overall, we're in the same position I estimated us to be at. We found our ups and downs for sure. We'll see how we keep going from here. We're on a 3-game win streak right now. We play the Chargers this upcoming week, and we definitely could use that win, as the AFC West looks like it's producing 3 teams that are going to make the playoffs if we don't sneak in there and beat one of them out. But this video, I kind of wanted to talk about mid-season grades on the different units of the Miami Dolphins and my overall offensive keys that I've seen and the defensive keys that I've seen so far into the season. I know a lot has happened, and I'm not going to be able to cover nearly all of it, but there are some things I kind of wanted to cover and go into, and that's going to be kind of the biggest things that have happened here and there, and how I'm feeling about the team right now. So we'll start out with the offensive keys. Um, Early on in the season, our offensive line was the biggest issue we had in the entire team. We did not start the season healthy on the offensive line. Mike Pouncey was out, and then Brandon Albert would miss a game. Um, the Tennessee game, Brandon Albert and Tunzel missed. We got destroyed by Tennessee, and we gave up 6 sacks. Billy Turner started at left tackle in that game, and Dallas Thomas started at left guard. Later on in that week, we fired both of them, cut both of them. Since then, our offensive line has been completely healthy. The starters have been healthy and played every game, and we've won 3 straight after that. Our offensive line went from one of the worst in the NFL to now we're a top 5, top 3-ish offensive line since then. Um, our offensive line is producing one of the best running games in the NFL in the last 3 games. And we're also only allowing less than a sack a game since they've been healthy, all 5 of them. Some of the Dolphins reporters call them the unicorn line, and they specifically say that that's Brandon Albert, Mike Pouncey, and Ja'Wuan James. And we're, I think, 9-1 in the history of those 3 being healthy together, starting and ending the same game. But all 5 starters were now 3-0 to start the season with all 5 of them. So offensive line has been huge recently. Along with that, Jay Ajayi has taken over the running game. Early on in the year, it was Arian Foster, and then Arian Foster got hurt, and we kind of went to a 4-man running back by committee. Uh, Gase committed to Ajayi, and since that offensive line's been healthy, he's been one of the best running backs in the league. He had two 200-yard games in a row, and then last week they faced the Jets, and who was a #1 rush defense, and he still had 100 yards and a touchdown as well. He's been one of the best running backs in the league in the last 3 games, and that running game has significantly changed the whole outcome of our entire team. We've been able to limit Tannehill. I think Gates realized that Tannehill is not quite as talented as he was hoping, or at least not in the ways that he was hoping. He has limited Tannehill and turned Tannehill into what I have always thought Tannehill as. I've always called Tannehill Alex Smith type of quarterback. He's a game manager. He doesn't need to throw the ball 50 times. And if you manage what he's doing, if you don't ask too much of him, he can be very efficient, and he won't lose you the game. And he has not been losing us the game. He hasn't been doing anything special, but I don't think he has a turnover in the last 3 games after having many turnovers in the first 4 or 5. And uh, Tannehill has been a completely different quarterback, and our offense has been completely different. And that's been one of the reasons that we've been winning. I can say that our wide receivers have not been doing as good. Jarvis Landry is, because we're not throwing as much, Jarvis Landry's not been as effective. but he's still our number one wide receiver, and every week he seems to set the tone for the team. Give him a ball early, and he'll go out there and make a move or run through somebody and then get the team fired up. I can say Devontae Parker has been a huge disappointment this year. He's either been not healthy or something's wrong because the dude can't seem to contribute almost at all. Kenny Stills has recently been hurt, but he's been our only deep play threat. Leonte Carrero and Jakeem Grant are just now starting to get introduced to the offense a little bit out there on the field, but otherwise they have contributed nothing on offense for us. We did have Arian Foster retire after JJ kind of started taking full bore, and then Arian Foster got hurt again. I can say Arian Foster is one of my favorite running backs of all time. I'm glad to see him go out as a Dolphin. I'm glad to see him go out on his own terms, and he will be missed. But I'm kind of happy we're going to Ajayi and seeing what we got for the future as well. Along that retired mindset, Jordan Cameron went onto the IR. He had another concussion. That's been 4 in 4 years, I think. And he's not retired yet, and he's been contemplating retirement. He says he wants to keep playing, so we'll see what happens with him in the future. I think Miami needs to move on from him for sure. Since he's been out, though, our tight ends have actually gotten a lot better. We've been having to play Dominique Jones and Marquise Gray because Deion Sims also got a concussion and was out for a few weeks. With the running game being so damn dominant, we've turned our tight ends into almost all blocking. We bring in two tight ends quite often, and we block a lot. And both Dominique Jones and Marquise Gray are good blockers. So is Deion Sims. And then we do a lot of play action passing off of that, and they've been good so far. So our tight ends have been decent recently. I've also found out that Gase has definitely shown the ability to read what our team's strengths and weaknesses are and alter our game plan around that. You can tell by now he's gone to that running game and focused solely on the running game. He has not abandoned the running game in the last 3 games, no matter what the situation, no matter if we were down. Recent history would tell you that as soon as the Dolphins get down at all, we would abandon the run game completely. Lamar Miller, would be at a 7-yard per carry average in the first half, and he'd only get 3 touches in the second half. That's not happening now. Jay Ajayi is dominating the fourth quarter. I think I read a statistic that he's averaging 9.6 yards per carry in the fourth quarter over the last 3 games. That is insane. That's what happens when you wear a defense out, and that's what we're doing right now, which is amazing. Because we're running so well and we're moving the chains, our time of possession's gone up. I mean, our amount of 10 play drives with over 5 minutes on the clock is, like 10 times what it was in the first 4 games. It's incredible what we've been doing with the time of possession, and that really helps our defense to have time to rest on the sidelines. That's basically the offensive keys that I've noticed the most, and it's basically just that our running game has been dominant, and we're not getting away from it no matter what. And it looks like it's sustainable. We do have to succeed a little bit more in the passing game in case we run into teams that commit 100% to stopping the run. And even though the Jets tried to do that, they weren't able to stop us. Eventually, something will happen, and we won't be able to run at this rate against a team, and we have to be able to rely on our passing game a little bit more. So our passing game definitely needs to get a little bit better. Hopefully, we'll see it this week at San Diego. The defensive keys. First of all, the biggest defensive key is that our running game on our offense is working so well. The time of possession has allowed us to rest a lot, and because we're not been down by so much, teams aren't running on us as much. Matter of fact, we've been in the lead of competitive a lot, so teams have had to either stay balanced or pass a decent amount, and that leads to our pass rushing defensive linemen been doing a lot better. Early on, we started Jason Jones and Mario Williams on the defensive end spots, and they were not cutting it out. They were not doing good. So they made a change, and Cameron Wake and Andre Branch are now the starting defensive ends. Since we've made that change, our defensive line is beginning a way better pass rush, and Ndamukong Suh has had an incredible season. He's still one of the best defensive linemen in the entire NFL. His statistics don't show that, but when you watch the game, he's beating double teams. He's demanding a double team on every single play, and when he can still get sacks, and he's still I think he's first or second on the team in sacks as a defensive tackle on the interior pass rush. That's an amazing thing to have. Um, our run defense has been bad all year, and it still is not good. Statistically, we're good in the rush defense, but when you watch the games, we're still giving up a high yards per carry. It's just the time of possession has limited other teams from being able to run the ball as much as from getting as many plays. And also, our pass defense is pretty weak, so teams can't exploit us there sometimes. We still need to improve our run defense for sure, um, but it is improved since the beginning of the year. Um, our secondary has not been very good, as I was saying. Um, they are definitely exploitable. We have had Tony Lippett and Byron Maxwell be our starters. Xavier Howard got hurt and has been out with a knee scope for the last 4 weeks. Tony Lippett started out really bad, and Byron Maxwell started out really bad, and we benched Byron Maxwell. Um, and since that has happened, both of them started picking up their play, and they're doing better for sure. They're still not good, but they're doing better. We happened to sign Chris Culliver in the beginning of the season. He had to start out on the pup, coming back from knee injuries last year. Chris Culliver is going to be playing. This is his first game back. Will be this San Diego game. So we'll see how he does, and hopefully he does well. We should be having Xavier Howard back in the next week or two as well. Um, so the secondary is only going to be improving. The one big, dramatic, insanely bad thing that did happen to us, Rashad Jones tore his rotator cuff and is out for season, and he might be out for 4 months. I've read, I think. The rehab will take him 4 months, so he's going to be out for a long, long time. We ended up signing his college teammate at Georgia, Bakari Rambo. He played right away, and he actually didn't do bad. Michael Thomas has also been playing a lot. Michael Thomas and Bakari Rambo look like they can get the job done. They're not good, but they're not terrible either. They're okay. They've been decent in the run game. They help out in the run game a decent amount, but their passing game definitely could do some work. They're not as good at covering ground as Rashad Jones was, and they're not as big playmakers as Rashad Jones was. The linebackers, Kiko Alonso has been playing well. We happened to sign Donald Butler early on because Kowamisi had to go onto the IR. Donald Butler has been playing pretty dang well. Kiko Alonso is the linebacker MVP for sure. He's leading the league, or leading the team in tackles. He's been good in the pass and the run defense. So Kiko's been a solid contributor for us. Recently, Johnny Jenkins has been kind of hurt off and on, and we kind of figured him out. He's pretty decent in pass coverage, so we bring him in on the passing downs. But Spencer Piesinger has been our kind of guy recently on running downs. And our linebacking unit's not great, but it's okay. Special teams. Uh, we've had great special teams return play from Grant and Drake, who both have a TD this season. Drake had a TD last week that beat the New York Jets. He had the game-winning kick return for touchdown, 96 yards. So overall, our special teams has been doing okay. Now going into that, I'm going to give you a report card grade on every positional group for the Dolphins and how I think they've been doing so far halfway through the season. We'll start out with quarterback. I think Ryan Tannehill deserves a C. Early on, it was a bad offensive line, but he did not play well at all either. I think Gase has figured Tannehill out, and he's definitely limited him, and he's not been throwing for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns, but he's not losing us the games either. The one thing I will credit Tannehill in is he's been playing very smart. No turnovers, I think, in the last 3 games. And his power of checking at the line, checking the calls at the line, he's switched into a lot of good plays. He's playing very, very smart. He's being a good game manager. But he's not going to be worth the $19 million we'll be paying him next year if he does not improve this year. So I can't give him any better than a C on the overall for the year. Running backs, I got to go with an A here. Early on, this would have probably been like a D or even an F. Foster and Ajayi were not getting it done early. And then we had that four running back by committee, which was terrible. But since then, the last 3 or 4 games, I mean, 3 games has been incredible, but even the fourth game earlier, the one game earlier, they committed to Ajayi, and he looked good then too. So the last 4 games, really, Ajayi has been really good, and now we have one of the best rushing offenses in the entire NFL. I think Damian Williams has been a perfect complement to Ajayi. Damian Williams has had a lot of big plays, either in the running game or in the passing game. The 1-2 combo of those two has been amazing. And then Kenyon Drake has also contributed in the return game. So the running backs, I give an A to. They're one of the best positional groups on the team by far. I'll go to wide receivers. I can't give them anything more than a C plus, and the only reason they get a C plus is because Jarvis Landry is amazing, and he is the tone setter for the team. Every game it seems to give him the ball early, and he makes a big play, runs somebody over or jukes somebody out, lays a big hit on a corner. He does something to set the tone, and he gets the offense moving. Devontae Parker may be the biggest disappointment for the entire team this year, like I was saying earlier. He's not been playing well at all. I think he might be injured, but we don't really know for sure. Kenny Stills has been a consistent deep threat when he's healthy, but he has not been over. He has been kind of hurt off and on, and without him on the field, it's been pretty bad. Our deep game's not. Nobody scares the defense other than Kenny Stills. I'll go to our tight ends. I'll give him a B. Our starting tight ends, Cameron and Sims. Cameron was terrible. Sims was okay, but not great. And then he got hurt. It's actually been the backups that have impressed me the most. Marquise Gray and Dominique Jones have been dominantly good recently with the run blocking and then breaking off of those run blocks and play action passes and catching deep balls downfield or catching touchdowns in the red zone. Our tight ends have been playing very well recently, but they were so bad early I can't give them any better than a B. Our offensive line, overall, I'm gonna give them an A plus, or sorry, a B plus. The healthy 5 starting linemen, they get an A plus 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 plus. Overall, they were garbage in the beginning of the year. With all the different injuries, we were allowing too many sacks and no run game. Nothing was going right for us. But since the 5 starters have been healthy, we are top. I mean, I've heard arguments that we're the number 1 offensive line, and that's saying something considering Dallas and Oakland. But I would feel comfortable putting us in the top 5 for sure. I would not feel comfortable saying we're the number 1, but we're definitely up there as one of the best lines in the entire NFL right now. And as long as they stay healthy, this could be great all year long. Now we'll get into some of the defense. Our defensive line, I think, is a B. They've been extremely bad early on, and we had to make a lot of adjustments as the coaching staff has figured out the defensive line and the roles. They've gotten better. Cameron Wake and Ndamukong Suh have been Pro Bowl level players. Suh in particular has been all pro level. He might be a top candidate for defensive MVP. He could literally be in the race for that. Cameron Wake has been nothing short of amazing since he's been put back in the starting lineup. I think he's either first or second in sacks on the team, with Ndamukong Suh being the other one. Wake is looked fresh and fantastic, and even Andre Branch has been good on the other side. So I do not feel bad about us letting Olivier Vernon go at all, even though I do think we overpaid for Mario Williams. He's been a big disappointment so far. Linebackers, I give it a B minus. Kiko Alonso has been a B plus player. The other guys have kind of had to be mixed and matched to figure out what roles they're going to play. Donald Butler's been consistently good since joining the team, but Jelani Jenkins and Spencer Pacing are below average players, and they're not contributing a lot. They're not helping us a lot. So overall, the whole unit is about a B minus. They need to improve in the run game for sure, and they need to keep making slight improvement in the passing game to be effective there as well. Cornerbacks, I think this is the weakest position group on the entire team, with Tony Lippett and Byron Maxwell as the starters. They're both below average players right now. They're actually playing decently recently, but that has a big part of that has to do with the defensive line getting consistent pass rush. Quick throws underneath destroy Byron Maxwell and Tony Lippett, both of them. And any down that is not good pass rush, they are easily exploited. I would say that getting Chris Culver back and Xavier Howard back is going to help us out tremendously. I'm excited for those guys to come back and get some more players there. Hopefully, Culver and Howard are good enough to take over those starting roles. Um, we'll go into the safeties now. I'll give them a B plus with the caveat that Rashad Jones was an A plus plus player when he was healthy. Unfortunately, Rashad Jones is on the IR and out for 4 months, like I was saying. But Michael Thomas, and then we signed Bakari Rambo, have filled in okay recently. Michael Thomas is not great in the pass game, but he's a very smart player, and he communicates well in the secondary. They need to work on their angles for sure because they do not cover as well as Rashad Jones as far as distance that they can cover, and they have missed a few angles and caused some bad plays, and that includes in the run game. They need to work on their angles there. But Issa Abdul Quddus may be the free agent signing of the year for us. I would say either him. You could also make the argument for German Bushrod being a part of that five-man offensive line. But I think Issa Abdul Quddus is probably the free agent signing for us that helps the most. I think he's leading the league or leading the team in interceptions. He's been really good in the pass game, and he's been pretty dang decent in the run game too. Him and Rashad Jones, if they both come back and are healthy next year, could be a really good duo for the future. So B plus for the safeties. We'll go into special teams. I'll give it an A. We actually rank as one of the best special teams units in the entire NFL. Through Pro Football Focus, Jakeem Grant, I think, is second in all punt kick return, and he's also up there in punt returns. We also have Kenyon Drake, who's extremely dynamic, and Jarvis Landry, if we want to use him in punt returns. Kickoff coverage has been really, really good. The only downsides that we've had in special teams, Andrew Franks has missed a few extra points or field goals. He definitely needs to pick up his A game. And we've had a little too many penalties in punt returns and kickoff returns and the like. So cut down on the penalties, improve your field goal game, and there'll be an A plus unit for sure. So that's kind of the overall gradings I gave to the team. Right now, overall as the entire unit offense, I would probably give an A. I think our offense has been working fantastic recently. I'll go a B plus. We'll go B plus because we still need to improve on our passing game. We're kind of one dimensional right now, and that could be dangerous for us. But the one dimension has been working really, really, really well. Our run game is doing amazing. We keep that up, we could win, another 6 games and go 10-6, and that's what we're kind of hoping for from here. Our defense, I'd probably give a C plus, B minus. Statistically, we've been doing really well recently, but I can definitely see the holes and the issues that we do have. They're relying more on the offense than their own skill. They've been improving, and we're getting healthier in the secondary. So hopefully that unit picks it up. Special teams, like I said, A. So overall for the entire team, I'd probably give us a B right now. We're above average. We're doing well. We're on the rise. Keep it up, Dolphins. We have an easy schedule from here on out. This might be our hardest game remaining at San Diego. Not win-loss wise, we still have Buffalo or the Arizona Cardinals or New England in Week 17. But New England should have the AFC bye locked up. Arizona is inconsistent at best. Buffalo, we already beat them once, and the next time we play them, they might be out of playoff contention anyway. And San Diego right now has been hot. Their offense is on fire. Their run game is on fire. And their defense has been playing a lot better than people expected. So this may be the hardest game we have left. If we win this one, I, as a lifelong Dolphins skeptic, will say we have a decent chance of making the playoffs. So let's go Dolphins. Let's go out there and get a win this week in California. And fins up, baby.